1991 Chevy S10. This one's going to be a simple setup. Just a basic radio with the Bluetooth. Make sure you do get the correct harness, which is the 70-1677-1. Also the dash kit is the 92-3042P. Let's get to it. To get the dash bezel off, open the glove box cover. There's going to be 2 Phillips screws here, and this whole thing pretty much just drops down. Make sure you unplug the cigarette lighter just to make everything easier. And then we're going to go ahead and install our dash kit. I did have to end up trying to relieve pressure in this one, a little bit on this one. That way I can slide the mic cable in between here where my finger is, and then route it underneath, and then ultimately come out where the radio wiring are. The dash kit kind of was a little bit confusing to me, but I did manage to figure everything out. I went ahead and tucked in the big harness that's in the corner right here. I know I should have soldered it, but sometimes when it comes to like these basic radios, I don't really spend all that time doing it since it's such basic install. But the dash kit definitely got me confused for a second, but there's a tray underneath that locks on to the bottom, vice versa, and then you have this tab B. You have to leave that particular tab right there, and then the other one is right there. Overall, this is going to be an easy one. So like I said, pretty self-explanatory. Match the color of the speaker wires, red, white, or red, black, and yellow are the power. Put the big harness right there in the corner, that way it doesn't interfere with you getting the dash kit to go in. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and mount everything and see how it looks. The dash kit feels kind of flimsy, as you can see. It's only held on that corner, both, but once you put the dash kit on, it'll relieve a little bit of pressure, make it a little bit tighter. It will self-align as well, since once it slides in, it'll center itself, so it gives it a little bit more support. First try, well, we have a bad fuse somewhere, no power, so I'm gonna go ahead and check that. Ended up checking all the fuses, and I found that this horn right here, the horn fuse was blown. Replaced it, and radio came on. So the radio does get power from the horn fuse, which is kind of odd. Usually it's on its own, but glad to see it on. Now we can proceed on the speakers. So it looks like at least one stock speaker is working from 91, so we're going to replace all of it. To replace the front speaker in a 91 S10, this one's pretty easy. It's only going to have 2 Phillips head, and then this whole screen is pretty much have the speaker itself. So like I said, self-explanatory, pretty easy. It took me about, I don't know, 5 seconds, and it was already completely off. This dash kit is actually pretty interesting. You do have to make these a little bit bigger where they slide onto. That way it'll go down flush like the factory one. So I'm going to enlarge those holes, and then obviously before I put it back, I'll mount the speakers first and then get that thing locked in. Here's the end result. Just make sure you tighten these things slow. If this thing breaks, then you're going to be in a big problem, because there's not going to be anything holding on to this bracket right here. So just be careful tightening this one. I did have to break this little tab right here. As you can see, it's already broken off. That was preventing the dash kit from going in. Other than that, this one's pretty much ready to go back in. Crutchfield makes it easy. Plug and play. And we can go everything put back, and then we'll do the other side. Passenger side is done. Same exact thing as the driver. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the rear speakers. The rear speaker is going to be a little bit more involved. This one didn't have any screws in here, but we do have to take off the seat belt anchor bolt or start key. The speaker is also attached to the dash panel, so this has to come off first before you can even take this off, which is kind of a pain, but it is what it is. There's gonna be a screw right here, and also one right here. Obviously the anchor was a T50, So you're gonna need one of these. I will advise that this thing is gonna be really tight. It took me a little bit to get it out, but once you get that out, this should just pop off. Just like that, we should be able to access the speaker. We might have to pop off the bottom panel, maybe right here, since it has a overlapping lip, but I can see the speaker, so that's a good thing. All right, the passenger side definitely is a pain. Obviously it overlaps right here. Had to take the door sill cover off. There's also two hidden screws that I already took off. I did have to take off the jack as well, which is kind of a pain as well, since the rod is going through that, so it kind of holds on to this panel right here. But after that, we can pretty much remove the whole assembly. This one's gonna be a little bit easier. It's also held by 10mm locking nuts, compared to a 12, I believe, is the one in the front, or 11. But this one doesn't require any adapters. It's pretty much a straight drop-in. Everything's pretty much mounted. We're gonna go ahead and rod everything, put everything back together, and place the jack back where it was before. I happened to glance on this side. Looks like I found the screw that goes to this location. I've got everything tested, faded and balanced. I double checked everything just to make sure all speakers are working. So other than that, this one's pretty much done. So hopefully you guys don't run into the same issues as I do. That's the only main issue that I found, is just the blown fuse. No big deal. Found it, fixed it, taking care of it. Other than that, that's about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.